It is a part of our Profitable Trader Series Q&A segment, and you can go back and watch that masterclass as well.
It's a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind game. Fix your mind, fix your trading. Fix your mind, fix your trading.
All right, so let's get right into it. Let's start bringing some questions up on the screen for me, please. Let's go. If I have $100 for trading, okay, what happened? Let's see. So if you have $100 for trading, do you advise getting a prop firm or a fund personal account? I would advise you to trade your $100. Don't get a prop firm for this. You are not going to survive with that, because when you buy the prop firm, you're going to think it's come to save your life. Because at this stage, the reason why you have $100 is because you don't have a better capital base yet. If you had more money, you would have deposited it. My advice, whether you listen, that's fine, but I will tell you the truth. Don't put it into a prop firm. Spend time learning how to grow the $100. Spend time learning how to build discipline with the $100. Spend time learning how to be able to apply the split rule and then grow with that first. But then if you have this, and this normally happens when an individual has, certain problems they want to solve in their life. But as I'm telling you now, trading is not going to do that. Even if that happens for you, you got lucky, because the nature of the business is to make sure that, people respect the multiplication system. So if you have $100, don't rush to buy a prop firm if you're thinking it's going to change your life. Learn how to be able to multiply this, learn how to keep this, grow this, until when you know that you are at a point where nothing can control that behavior, then you can actually start looking into prop firm. I'm not a big fan of prop firms. The reason why I'm not a big fan of prop firms is because the nature of the way the business works now, they don't really care about a lot of people right now, and it is very, very annoying. So I know people who sometimes are devastated because they made money and they don't want to pay them. So beyond just even you being a good trader, you cannot even determine if they will pay you or not. This is the problem. So you want to make sure you have something that you can control. Okay? All right, next question. Kindly recommend the best prop firms and brokers to engage with. Well, I don't have one for you. Brokerages, I cannot recommend that. You can, if you want to know, you can go to brokerchooser.com. So when you go to brokerchooser.com, you will put in the country where you are in, and then the system will help you to choose a brokerage that fits your systems. The reason why I cannot recommend a prop firm or I cannot recommend a brokerage is because, number one, of course, we are live. Here, there are brokerages that we can recommend if you are in our accountability program. But then as far as this live stream is concerned, unfortunately, no brokerage or prop firm has, done any affiliation business with me for me to give them that. However, there are very good brokerages out there that when you go to brokerchooser.com, brokerchooser.com, when you go there, you can be able to find a brokerage for yourself. Prop firm wise, that is not a space where I do recommend certain things like that. But I'm sure you can do research on Trustpilot, and I'm sure, they will give you certain things and so on and so forth. So unfortunately, I cannot be able to recommend something like that. But of course, if you want a tailored advice, book a meeting and then let me hear you and I can guide you. But as far as, large amount of audiences here is concerned, I will not say anything that may, push other people to a place of confusion. So if you want my personal advice and direction, let the team schedule a meeting between you and I. I will happily meet you on one of the consultation days and I will give you the consultation based on this advice you need. Okay? All right, then. Can we go to the next question, please? I am doing well in trading. However, standardizing the SL is a very big issue for me. Every time I lose different, I am looking for a day I will lose strictly 1% in every trade. Well, John, so the issue here is not about whether if you are hitting SL or they are inconsistent in losses. The problem is right there before you. Okay, it is either you don't have a defined SL or you were trying to over leverage a certain system, and that led to an amount of loss you didn't plan to lose. So you need to ask yourself this question: that do I have my losses predefined? If your losses are predefined, the next question you got to ask yourself is, why then is it not reflecting the predefinition? The answer can be because you are trying to make more than you are supposed to, or you have not predefined it. It's as simple as that. But this day that you are looking forward to lose strictly 1%, it could be Monday, it could be Tuesday, it could be Wednesday. It all depends on you. But I'm telling you, you just need to predefine them. And if you are struggling to follow that risk rule, then it's because you need another form of income that will be able to help you not to care about this as a whole. But whichever way, you just need to I would like to really understand why. If you don't mind, send me an email to my personal email. I would like to really see your P&Ls. Let me see the type of inconsistency that you're talking about here. Send me your P&L to my email. I'm sure you have my email, or probably you know where it is. So just send me an email. Let me see your P&L. I will take time. When you do send it, probably on Monday, give me like 48 hours, 72 hours. I will definitely get time and go through it and get back to you and see how inconsistent that losses look like. Okay. All right. Next question. I hold on to a losing trade for longer than I hold on when I'm in profit. When I'm in profit, I always think the market will come back and stop me out and quickly get out, or the profit continues without me. Well, this is clear example of somebody who is experiencing loss aversion as a losing behavior, meaning that your tendency of not wanting to lose has become greater than your desire to gain. So when you are losing, you hold on to the losses. When you are gaining, you cut it quickly because you are afraid it will not be that way. Now, quick question. With this, it tells me that you don't have an authentic backtested data, unfortunately, because if you had the data that you have backtested, forward tested, this behavior will be killed instantly, because you will know that the trace you are holding on to when you are in profit will go there, on the one that you are holding on to that is in loss will not go there based on the data. So what I will tell you is, I will give you a homework. Go and get a backtested data. Go and backtest. Okay, that is number two. Psychologically speaking, the reason why this happens is because you have the fear of thinking something good will not last in your life. And this is an identity problem. This normally comes from somebody who grew up in a household where nothing good seems to last. Let's say you graduate from school. The next thing is, how would we be able to even pay for this school fees? Or the next thing is, what are we going to do about this? When you come from an environment like that, you are always on the survival mode. So you are always trying to survive. And this is an identity problem. If it is an identity problem, first of all, go watch the identity series. Secondly, get a consultation. Let's look at what is driving these causes, and then you can push it out from there. But whichever way, technically speaking, backtest. Psychologically speaking, identity from somebody who do not think something good can last in their life for a very long time. That is it. All right. Another question that we can get right now quickly. Okay, so this is the same question for this individual. I hope this, Ben FX, can you comment back? Let me know the answer I just gave you right now. You understood it. Okay, if you understood, let me know. Next question, please. No, so this is a very interesting point. Let me talk to somebody here, because I'm sure somebody else is in the same context. Anytime that you find your account not going up or not coming down, and it's not blowing and it's staying in one place, the problem is a ceiling problem. You see, when it comes to business, there is something called scalability. The ability to scale is a system-based. So if you have gotten to a point where you are making money and you are losing money and you are not blowing the account, the part where it's saying, if it will blow, let it blow, that is a bad mindset. Just throw it away. But scaling in this context right now works like this. Look at what you are doing that is making you money and do it times 2. And look at what is making you lose money and cut it by 2. So look at what is making you money, do that times 2. Look at what is making you lose money and cut it down by 2. Right now, there is a possibility that your system is a break-even system. What if your edge is a break-even edge? Meaning that it is impossible for you to make money above what is giving you now. So as I said, I'm interested to know your P&L. Send me some P&L sheet, Excel sheet. Make sure it's well arranged, please. Do not take a screenshot of your MT5 and send it to me. I may not be able to get the time to look at it from that angle. Send me an Excel sheet. It can be a CSV file from your brokerage or your prop firm, okay? I want to see it. The guest that we have today, is he ready? If it's not, I'm going to take one more question and then we are done for today's Q&A because we need to wrap up. If I had to rebuild my trading career from zero after a major drawdown, what exact process? Backtesting. Backtesting, bro. Backtesting and forward testing. There is no magic around this. I don't need to elongate the answer. Backtesting, that's all. Ian. Backtesting. Okay, so I just got an answer right now that our guest is having network challenges. So backtesting. Somebody's going to be like, Cliff, is backtesting the only answer you have? Yes, but this is a backtesting answer. Anytime that you are hoping around your strategy is because your strategy does not have a definite track record. You have not backtested. You have no backtesting. You have no forward testing. You have no data. You don't have an edge. So you got to go backtest. Do you know how to backtest? Does anybody, one of these days, I think we are going to be talking about backtesting. But yes, backtesting. So how do I know when to take a profit? Last week, I had up to 470 pips. Thank you so much, Solomon. My producer said, this is the last question. How do I know when to take profit? Last week, I had up to 470 pips profit on gold. The drain because it didn't hit my target 500 pips. Where do I draw the line? Greed and discipline. No, it's not greed. You don't have a greed or discipline problem. This is a strategy problem. Because you are going for more pips, even though the market is saying that this was supposed to be there. So this is the homework I want to give you. Go back and check all the history of your trades that this kind of behavior has been repeated. And then look at how many pips the market wanted to give you based on your strategy and use that as the new target point lines. Don't go for the risk to reward ratio you want. Go for the one the market wants to give and adjust your lot size to make it reach the amount of money or percentage you will still lose. The problem here is you are trying to go for 500 pips. Why? Because you want 500 pips? No. Go for the pips the market wants to give based on structure. Then adjust your lot size to lose the exact amount of money your percentage wise you are supposed to lose. That's it. So go back and study all the trades that did the same thing to you and study how many pips the market has been giving you based on your strategy and create the edge around that. Does that make sense?